Very exciting times, but it's time for us to talk about schemes and scams when it comes to card fraud. Now, whether you're using a debit card or a credit card, you know what? A scallum is always going to try and get the money that's in your bank account. But with these tips from Sabric, you can stay one step ahead.
Now, criminals will go to great lengths to steal from their victims' bank accounts. And one of the ways that they do this is through card fraud. Now, from credit cards to debit cards, everybody is at risk. But luckily for us, we've got Kiliane Pillay, the CEO of Sabric, the South African Banking Risk Information Center, to tell us how to keep our bank cards safe. Probably something that we should all be doing because we all have some kind of banking system that's working for us through a bank card, whether it is a credit card or a debit card. And so I guess the first things first is what types of card fraud exist out there? Is it called card fraud in general, or are there specific categories?
Well, there's various kinds of card fraud because of the different modus operandi. So you get card not present fraud. That's where you utilize your card where it doesn't need to physically be there, so your online transactions.
Okay.
Then you get counterfeit card fraud, where your card is cloned. So the perpetrator would have skimmed off the data that's on the back of the card on the brown mag strip, and then creates a new card and purports to be you and transacts. Then you get lost or stolen cards. So when your card is stolen, then of course the person would use it. If it's lost, got into somebody else's hands, again it's used. Then we have what is called issued, not received cards. So sometimes a card is up for renewal and a new card is issued, and somebody intercepts that communication and goes and collects it. So you don't receive it, but they get it. So then they're in possession of your card. So you get various kinds of card fraud.
Yeah. So are you saying, I mean, one of the ones that you referred to, the perpetrator doesn't even have to have your card physically in order to transact on it? How is that even possible?
Well, that's card not present. So what they need to have, and you would know that if you're doing a transaction online, if you're buying, you need to have your card number, you need to have your expiry date, and you need to have the 3 numbers at the back of the card, which is the CVV number or the CVC number, as it's called sometimes. That's all you need. So if the perpetrator has access to that information, they can go ahead and transact as if they're you. And that's why we always say to people, make sure that you register for SMS notification, because if somebody is using your card, at least you'd get wind of it quickly, and you could, of course, call and stop that card. So you don't need to physically be there, and you can do these transactions.
All right, so then what do you do if you do suspect that there's been fraudulent activity on your card? There's a transaction that just popped into your SMS that you don't recognize or you don't remember making. What should you do?
Immediately, before anything else, you call the bank's call center number and you stop that card. That's why we always tell people to make sure that you keep your bank's call center number in your contacts all the time. Call them, stop that card immediately. And then, of course, you need to contact the police as well. If monies have gone, then you are a victim of theft. So, you know, you've got to let the police know as well.
Yeah. So how can, I mean, ultimately, individuals out there protect themselves from card fraud?
Well, you know, make sure, for one, that you don't share your card with anybody else. Don't give anybody your PIN number. Your card is for your own personal use. Your PIN number is your signature. So don't give it to other people to use. Make sure that when you're at an ATM that you also safeguard your card, that you make sure that you look after your PIN even at an ATM. If you're transacting in a shop, make sure that when the card is given back to you, that it is in fact your card before you put it back into your wallet. Make sure that when you're putting the PIN in, even at a point of sale device, that you cover the keypad when you're putting the PIN in, because it's, again, you don't want anybody else to know it. Look out to see if your card is not swiped through another device. It should always be done in your presence. In fact, our advice to bank customers these days is you don't even need to let the card out of your hand. You can ask to put it into the point of sale device. When you've done the transaction, you remove it, put it back into your wallet, so nobody else needs to touch your bank.
Wonderful advice, as always. Thank you so much. So you heard it here first. Always report a lost or a stolen card immediately. Don't even wait. If you'd like more tips on banking safely, then visit the Sabric website, and you can also see them on Facebook and on Twitter, so that you can hashtag Wise Up and Watch Out.
Wise Up, Watch Out.